What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode 72 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Chinese Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you are new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, for the first time since Season 1, we are going back to China. It's been 66 races since our last visit to Shanghai. But before we do that, we've got a secret meeting to go to. Our first one with Red Bull 2 episodes ago. Who is it this time? Mercedes are back. Mercedes are old employers who we just left at the end of last season already want us back. I mean, Russell's done quite well on the car, so that seems a bit unfair, but in terms of performance from Mercedes compared to performance at McLaren, it's quite an unfair comparison. We are quite a way in front with myself and Norris. Norris, of course, leads the championship still. Mercedes second place in the constructors right now, but I think it's an obvious no in terms of talks. We left Mercedes for a reason. Their reliability in our second season with them was poor. McLaren is our home. We're staying right where we are for now.
Hey, me again. Been chatting with some of the team higher-ups, and they're delighted with the loyalty you're showing to the team and the project. Now's a good time to ask for a bonus, or a boat, or whatever it is you people get up to out of the car.
I mean, I'll take a boat, but in the meantime, though, we have got some work to do in terms of preparing for this next race weekend. In terms of R&D, work to be done on that front to get our specialists sorted. But China, it's obviously been a while since we've been to China. As I say, our first season, we were back in the AlphaTauri days of 2020, and now, 4 seasons later, we are obviously a world champion, race winner. So we've made a lot of progress since our last visit to China, but of course resource points are there to be spent. I'm going to get to work on spending those. In terms of what to go for this time, I'm going to fix this chassis upgrade that Norris tried last time but failed, and for the rest of our points we'll go for this aero upgrade, so minor upgrade on that front, and that will help us close the gap to Red Bull a little bit there. 3 upgrades on our side, and closing the gap a little bit to Red Bull, but crucially not enough as of yet. They're still with us in terms of pace, but overall points-wise, a different story. Norris in front by 14 points there, and McLaren a dominant margin to Mercedes. Red Bull in 4th place. Verstappen with the win last time, still only in 5th place in the championship, so work to be done for Verstappen. But advanced time now and getting set for what should be a fantastic Grand Prix. And it's a sprint weekend too, our first sprint weekend of the season. Looking forward to it. It'll be a long episode, so plenty of action to come. Mark is waffling about upgrades that have been finished or not finished. Not really too bothered about what he's got to say there. But let's head now to Shanghai for the first time in a few years and get sprint qualifying underway.
Now here's something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
So the first ever sprint qualifying session in Ultimate Career set to get underway. Of course, rule change for 2023 brought in on F1 24, so sprint now gets its own separate qualifying session. In terms of power unit, the warning light is still on there. It's orange for now, so not too much of a concern, but the ICE is looking quite warm there, 64%, so let's keep an eye on that over the course of qualifying and then in the sprint. And then if we need to make a change before qualifying for the Grand Prix, then we'll do that, because I think it's likely we could see an engine failure at some point in the next race or two if we're unlucky in terms of reliability. Make your way out onto the racetrack though, 16 corners at Shanghai International Circuit, one of the most unique circuits on the calendar, and coming now on towards turn 16 to start that first flying lap. Hot lap mode to overtake, DRS deployed, and our first run is underway. Of course, only the 1 set tyres for sprint qualifying, so we're going to make use of this first lap as we had to do in Japan last time. Into turn 1, long sweeping right-hander, the first 3 corners technically all connected to each other, so through turn 1 and into turn 2 now, the first real braking zone in the circuit. You can lift slightly through turn 1, keep it under control, obviously braking properly for turn 3, and out of turn 4 now, completing that first complex. There's a bit more straight line speed going down towards the end of the first sector through turn 5, little right-hander there, and a much more tighter right-hander for turn 6. 23.9 our first sector, so decent start, work to be done. Purple so far, but no one quick to come through yet as of right now. Keep an eye on the Red Bull behind us. I think that's Sergio Perez, could be Verstappen, not too sure. But out of turn 13 now, the long back straight and DRS in play. We haven't got a lot of battery left here, so we have to try and save some on our second run. So obviously lessons to be learned from our first lap, jumping into our second one. But in terms of pace in that second lap, not too sure because we're on the same set of soft tyres. So whether we'll go much faster, I'm not confident. But going into turn 14 now, the slight higher pin, tightest corner on the circuit. Through turn 15, good exit there, starting a bit out the corner, but going into turn 16 now. Be careful to avoid that curb. We're going over it too much, hitting that sausage curb on the apex. Out of the last corner towards the line, 1:33.4 on the board. That Red Bull coming in behind one of the Salvas out. Guan Yu Zhou's come through. Bottas in second place. We're fastest for now. One of the Red Bulls going through turn 16 to complete their first lap. Who is going to be? It's Perez, but 1:33.0 for Perez, so 4 tenths up on us. So work to be done then, and down to P5 here, P6, P7, P8, P9, and almost P10 here. It's been very close in terms of end of the session. P10 for now. Norris, our teammate, fastest. Verstappen just 600 in front, but for the last corner here on our second lap, made a lot of mistakes. A full second down. Obviously the tyres a lot more worn out by comparison, so it's P10 for us. Not fantastic in terms of starting spot, and way down compared to Norris, because obviously Norris can get as many as 8 points here if the sprint goes his way. But in terms of the top 10, in qualifying. Norris on sprint pole, Verstappen second, Hamilton third, Sainz in fourth, Perez in fifth, and it's Leclerc, Alonso, Russell, Stroll and myself running at the top 10. 7/10, 3/4 of a second off our teammates. So work to be done in the sprint then. And obviously, lucky we're not trying to fight our way up for a good starting spot in the Grand Prix. So still qualifying session to come. But now it's time to get to the 10-lap sprint and see if we can try and work our way up through the field and try and catch our teammate.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight, before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Stroll, Cohen, Ocon, Ricciardo, Gasly, Albon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Sargent and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. So we're getting close to the start of the race. What will this driver be experiencing? Big nerves? Big excitement? What?
Always extra nerves at the start of the race, Gruffy. It's probably at the start of the race, it's where your heart rate's at its highest in anticipation. And you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to be thinking there inside the car, what can go right? How can I be opportunistic rather than what can go wrong? And how do I protect my position? Look forward and stay positive. It's easy to say, very hard to do when you're in that position.
Here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the first sprint race of the season and the first race back in China in 4 years from P10 on the grid. Nice and simple strategy wise, 10 laps, medium tyres, let's do this.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint.
So Norris then leads Verstappen to turn 1, of course. Norris can get as many as 8 points from victory in the sprint today, so we need to get ourselves into the top 8 at minimum to try and score, and obviously from there try and catch Norris over the course of these first 10 laps of the racing this weekend. Verstappen P2, Lewis P3, Sainz and Perez round out your top 5.
As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
So time then to duke it out here in China. Looking forward to getting this underway. Of course, a lot of work to be done here from P10 on the starting grid. We haven't made it easy for ourselves at the start of this race weekend, but plenty of time and opportunities to work our way through the field here. Turn 1, that first complex of corners will be one of our best overtaking spots over the course of the Grand Prix based on how the AI moves. But going towards our grid spot now, Lance Stroll on our left and Ocon and Ricciardo right behind us. Didn't expect to be surrounded by Aston Martins, Alpines and RBs in this race weekend, but we'll take what we can get. And the last few cars take their spots on the grid now to get this sprint race underway. Our first sprint of 2024, Norris and Verstappen on the front row as the lights come on here in Shanghai. Lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. We're racing here in China. Stroll with a good start there in front of us. Going to try and challenge Alonso and Russell going into the first corner. Into turn 1. 3 wide for a second. Stroll gets in front of both cars there. Alonso P8 side by side with Russell now. And down the inside of both Aston Martins going into turn 2. Taking advantage of that little bit of space they left. Going into the right-hander. Into turn 3 now. 3 wide with both cars. Stroll in the middle. Alonso on the inside. Alonso might get squeezed out here. Making way out off of turn 4 towards turn 5. Stroll in front. Alonso behind. Through the grass they're going towards turn 6. Cutting the corner ever so slightly, but keeping it only just in the white line to keep one tyre on the racetrack. Stroll on our outside, they're going through turn 6, pulling in front of the Canadian and jumping into P7, and so 3 places gained in the first sector, but work to be done here as he push further on to lap 2, and about a lap later getting to work with Sergio Perez in front of us. Charles Leclerc in P5. Norris is away by a good second or so to Verstappen in second. They're going on the inside of Perez, Verstappen's teammate, into turn number 6 and jumping into P6 now, so one more place up and working now on Charles Leclerc Carlos Sainz in front of us, Hamilton in P3. On to lap 3 of this Grand Prix. Norris the lead there, going in towards that first corner. He's dominating this sprint race. And Leclerc, our next target, going towards this first corner, looking for an opportunity in the inside, as we did toward the Aston Martins on the first lap. Charging to the inside of Leclerc into the first corner. Leclerc gives us room and up into P5, then 1 more place gain. So 5 places up then in the first 2 and a bit laps of this Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz and Hamilton sit just in front of us on the run towards turn 5 and 6. Onto the back straight, they're going towards turn 14. Leclerc threatening us as Sainz goes for Hamilton in front of P3. The Monegasque on our inside, going into the braking zone in front of us. They're trying to outbrake him if we can. And side by side with the Ferrari, we try and jump in front on corner exit, sliding there on corner exit, and keeping it in front of Leclerc narrowly. And we'll still get DRS thanks to Hamilton in front. Sainz now in P3. Verstappen pulling away, and Norris with his big lead here. Leclerc might try and challenge it onto lap 4. Leclerc to the outside, going towards turn 1, nipping in front as Hamilton tries to challenge Sainz for 3rd place. Once again, side by side with Leclerc into the first corner, over the curb there, trying to keep ourselves alongside him for the first turn. And going through turn 2 now, got a nose in front, going to try and eke in front if we can, clearing Leclerc on corner exit into turn 3. And now working on Lewis on the inside there. Sainz wins out once again, side by side with Hamilton, our former teammate, off of the corner as the 2 leaders make their way down towards turn 6 here, side by side with our former teammate going into the right-hander. Everyone's slowing here. Let's go around the outside of several cars. Norris has spun it. The race leader around, and our teammate is gone. Lando spun the car, stopped everyone there. Red flag has been deployed. What? For a spin as simple as that. I mean, he's held the field at bay, but we're in the lead now. We scammed the race lead from our teammate making that mistake. What just happened to Norris, who must just cooked it going out of turn 6? But all of a sudden then the race suspended, calm it all down, and now we're in the race lead with 5 laps to go in this thing. Restarting on lap 6, medium tyres, keeping constant with those, but Norris has maintained second though, so he'll be on our right for the run towards the first corner. Continuing on then, here come the lights of second race restart, given a bright opportunity to try and win this sprint race. The lights are on. And we are racing once again here in China. Good start from Norris on our right going towards the first corner. Norris ekes in front, puts his nose clear into the first corner, clears us for turn 1. Going to try and make a move to the inside if we can for turn 2. Switching back to our inside of our teammate, side by side there now. Norris still a bit in front, but we'll keep our nose in there for turn 3. Norris over the curb, going into the left-hander, but keeps it in front as the inside line and maintains the lead for now. Going to try and challenge him though. Leclerc behind us, and try and make a move. Leclerc to the outside, going into turn 5. More focused on challenging our teammate though, all the way to the inside of our teammate, passing Norris there, but going over the curb again, and Norris switches back, gets back in front of us. It's still side by side here. What a duel this is on the second race restart. Sorry, it's Sainz in 3rd place, not Leclerc. Norris though leaves the door open on the inside for turn 7 and will breeze through, so into the race lead once again. Then so only just getting the lead back off the start after Norris had the better getaway from the lights, but pushing further on now down the back straight towards turn 14. Norris the fantastic run there. Has to start saving some battery at some stage and always try and keep him at bay on this stretch, because he left DRS next time round. But Norris on our outside there, going down towards turn 14, outbrakes us on the outside there, over the curb ever so slightly for turn 14. Lucky to avoid a warning there for track limits. Sainz and Verstappen side by side. Stroll in P5. Where did he come from? Norris though gets back in the lead. Going to try and get a better exit if we can. Off of turn 16 down the main straight again. 4 laps to go here in the sprint race in China. Norris keeping his car in front and keeping it ahead for now. DRS back in play. That'll be in play mainly for the run down towards turn 14 this time by. We'll try and make a move on Norris if we can once again at turns 1 and 2. Down the inside, giving ourselves a bit of space there to try and sneak past our teammate on the outside. Going to try and shut the door on him going to turn 3. He's still there, only just. Norris keeping his foot in it on corner exit, but going to jump in front, almost running into the grass there, but keeping it ahead. And now to lap 9, Verstappen has jumped to Norris in the race position. We've got several cars out the Grand Prix. Hulkenberg is out the race. I think Albon's got a problem too for the back in the order. Albon pulling the car over. Looks to be very slow for him. Yes, it is. Alex Albon out of the Grand Prix, down to 18 runners now, but our big focus is on Verstappen and charging to the inside of the racetrack there, going into turn 14. Verstappen is alongside us, trying to pull in front, trying to take the win from both McLarens here. Of course, he needs these points. He needs a victory or 2 after his win in Japan to try and close out the gap in the championship. Verstappen around the outside, going to back off, let him have DRS, double back here, and then for corner exit, pull in front and try and get away from him onto the last lap here. Norris challenging Verstappen for 2nd place. Sainz behind us too. It's a big scrap here for the win here in Shanghai into turn 1, holding the lead for now. But for how long can we keep this thing as we aim for our first sprint victory of the season? Norris closing on the run towards turn 11, saving a lot of battery here. Got almost half our charge back, and we have to use practically all of it for the last run towards turn 14. Norris is there, Verstappen's there, Sainz in 4th, Alonso now in 5th, Aston Martin on for some good points today, but Norris is our main focus behind as of right now. Will Verstappen try and charge up as well, try and get one last run at us going down towards the hairpin for the final time? Norris is closing in, DRS not even in play yet. Rear wing goes open, our teammates McLaren makes the move. Verstappen to the outside there, Norris going for it but backing off it, keeping it behind us right now on the run towards the right-hander. Verstappen though pulling alongside it, our teammate, and off of turn 14. We may as well have the last of it here as those two go side by side for the run towards the last corner, leaving us to come through the final turn from P10 on the grid, taking full advantage to our teammate's spin on lap 4 of the race. Checker flag, we win the sprint.
So with the sprint concluded, Join us next time for qualifying and, of course, the main event, this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. We'll see you next time.
What a sprint race there. One of the most exciting of our careers so far. But the victory then from Verstappen, Sainz in third, and Norris got beaten to third place at the line there. So Norris, after that spin, losing out massively there. And that's going to close. It helps us close to 3 points in the championship. Now 11 points behind Norris. Verstappen in third place, 39 points back of the lead. Time with Russell for third place. And McLaren opened that lead up to 83 points now over Ferrari after a 1-4 finish. Fantastic stuff in the sprint. But now it's time for us to head to qualifying for the main event, the Grand Prix.
Now here's something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years' absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
So jumping into Grand Prix qualifying after a very successful Saturday so far, the sprint victory safely in our pocket. Pushing on to our first lap, not going to waste too much time here before getting into the Grand Prix itself. Going down towards turn 14, a lot more ERS this time, so we managed to take lessons learned from both the sprint and sprint qualifying in terms of a fast lap. And I think we'll be a bit faster coming through turn 14 this time. 2 more corners to go on the circuit through 15 towards the last corner now. 2 green sectors. Albon fastest for the time we set in our first session, 1:33.4 up towards the line. So a lot better than this time. It's 1:32.6. Much more improvement. Almost a second up. 0.8 improvement from our time in sprint quali. So that'd be a tough time for us to try and match in our second run. Change our set of tyres, fresh set of softs this time round, and holding P1 here, so the fastest time from the first set of runs, which is a rarity in this series. Not often we actually get that, but Verstappen is 800ths behind us, Leclerc third, Alonso fourth, and Norris, who took pole for the sprint, in 5th place for now. But obviously that can still change as final runs get underway. Onto our second lap now, coming towards the end of our second lap into the last sector. 2/10 up as of right now, plenty of battery left for the run towards the hairpin. We're down to P6 right now, so cars improving around us. Hamilton and Russell both in front of us, Norris faster than us, Verstappen and Leclerc in front as well. In towards turn 14 then, improving by about 10th or so. It's not a lot of time being found. We need to get about 4 or so in order to stand a chance here to try and get pole back in the last few corners of this lap. So into turn 16 then to cap off qualifying for this Grand Prix weekend. Over the curb there, losing a fair bit of time, up a 10th or 2 towards the line. It's P4 for us on the starting group, which is an improvement over our place in the sprint. But obviously we were on pole that first run, so we have the pace for it, but just this point we can execute on our second lap. But Leclerc takes pole from Norris, Verstappen, myself in fourth, and it's Russell, Hamilton, Gasly, Perez, Sainz and Alonso then. So a decent top 10, and looking forward to what should be a fantastic Grand Prix here. Number of cars around us with threats to try and win this thing. Can we try and go take sprint and Grand Prix victory for the first time in Ultimate Career? Only one way to find out. Let's do this.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Cohen, Russell, Hamilton, Gasly, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ricciardo, Ocon, Albon, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Magnussen and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Here we go then, Grand Prix time here in China for the first Chinese Grand Prix since 2020 and our return here for the first time since Season 1. In terms of strategy then for the Grand Prix, they're recommending us the alternate strategy here, so starting on hards and going on 2 sets of mediums as opposed to just the one and try to split up that second stint. But do you know what? We always use default, we always go for the one stop. The one stop's 7 seconds faster, but let's try something else here. Let's try the alternate strategy and see if it works out for us.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
So Leclerc leads us back to turn 1. Fortunately, we're not only car on hard tyres here, both Norris and Verstappen looking at the C2s, as well as both Salbers and Sergio Perez as well, but everyone else is on mediums for the race start.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Last checks and systems all in place for the Chinese Grand Prix and looking to try and for the first time win both the Grand Prix and the Sprint in the same weekend. We've never done it before. We've taken one but not the other in certain different points over the course of our career. But the aim here, simple to try and win the race, or at the very least try and take the championship lead from Norris. So pace is good. I think we're one of the fastest cars this weekend. The McLaren definitely the fastest, but in terms of driver pace, we're up there. And with a good chance to try to take a podium at the very least and try and, as I say, take back that Drivers' World Championship leaders. The last 2 cars take their spots then at the back of the grid to get the 28 laps around the Shanghai International Circuit underway. Leclerc and Norris in the front row. Here come the lights then for the Chinese Grand Prix, round 5 of the season. And it's lights up, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. We're racing here in China. Leclerc with a good start there. Jumps in front. Verstappen challenging Norris no one towards the first corner. Go to the inside of both of them here. 3 wide with our title rivals into turn 1. Norris and Verstappen going out wide. Getting their line set for turn 2. Going to pass on both on the inside there. So into P2 then from one corner. Fantastic start there. And Leclerc with a fantastic getaway himself. Takes the early lead away on those medium tyres. So trying to move away from us as he try and get away from Norris and Verstappen. Go side by side down towards turn 6. But our work is now beginning to chase down Charles Leclerc as we go into turn 6 for the first time in this Grand Prix. Leclerc a few tenths in front of us. Norris and Verstappen 6-7 tenths back, so no threat to us as of right now. On to the end of lap number 3 now. A couple laps later, on to start lap 4 of this Grand Prix, and our first real opportunity to try and take Leclerc for the race lead. Fastest lap in our possession. Norris 3 seconds behind. We've built a mega lead here in these first 3 laps of this race. We're going into turn 1 here and trying to close on Leclerc as much as we can. Going to pull all the way to the inside if we can for turn 2. Only just sneaking inside of Leclerc, who opens the door up and gives us that little bit of room. Going into turn 3, Leclerc goes over the curb, so he's still alongside him for corner exit, going through turn 3 and off turn 4. Leclerc, the better line, nips back in front, but how long can he keep himself there? Going down through turn 5 and towards turn 6. Closing on Leclerc all the time. Going to try the outside here. Leclerc defends the inside. Going into the right-hander. Going to try and make a switch back if he can on corner exit. They try and pull alongside using a bit of a battery to our advantage too. Leclerc is still there, keeping his car narrowly well positioned in front, but goes wide though, off his line and down the inside as we did on Norris in the sprint. Going to try and go around the outside of turn number 8 and through towards turn 9. Side by side with the Ferrari going into the next braking zone. And we've got the preferred line. So down the inside of Leclerc. We're going a bit wide off our line there through turn 9 and towards turn 10. Leclerc trying to go back through there, sliding on corner exit. Leclerc nips back in front. It's side by side. They see Norris and Verstappen closing in. The whole train is there behind them. Leclerc reclaims the lead. It's side by side going through turn 11 into 12. Back in front for a moment, sliding there, going off the corner, sliding towards the grass. And Leclerc wins this duel, gets himself back in front. And Norris right on our tail now, back in DRS range. Won't get it this time, but Leclerc will. He was behind us at the detection zone, so he'll take the DRS for now and try and pull away. But we've got a decent slipstream, so keeping with him for now. And lucky to not be any further back and perhaps being challenged by Norris and Verstappen, but pushing further on now onto lap 5 of this thing, coming towards the end of lap number 5, start of lap 6. Our objective is clear to overtake Leclerc before lap 10, so we get to work here to make that move happen. Going down towards turn 1, DRS in play, lacking in batteries, going to try and save some in the first few corners, but diving closer and closer to Leclerc and try to make a move to the inside if we can. Once again at turn 1 and down the inside, making that move stick, past the objective, but Leclerc still on our tail here going through turn 3, so keep an eye on him for when he makes his next attack. And pushing on to lap number 8 now this Grand Prix. Leclerc right behind us still, Norris 1.8 behind in 3rd, and Verstappen 4th. Hamilton P5, yellow flag here, an issue for one of the cars right behind us as he slides through turn number 6. It's Norris has gone wide there, he's got a problem perhaps on that McLaren, falling down the order, it's like the Norris has got an issue, and this early on in the Grand Prix, and this could be it for the championship leader, could be out the race here as Norris out of the Grand Prix. Things have gone horribly, horribly wrong for our teammate Lando Norris, who went from sprint pole to falling off the podium on the final lap in the sprint, and now out to the Grand Prix in China completely. The engine goes up in smoke there as Verstappen goes through. You see us sliding, and Leclerc may try and challenge us for the lead, can hold on to it for now, but Lando Norris has had things go from bad to worse this weekend since taking the lead of the championship puncture in Japan, and now this retirement in China. So Norris is out, but let's focus on our own race for now. In that scuffle, Leclerc falling back to P4, so on to lap 10, 2 laps later, and for our first pit stop of the Grand Prix onto our first set of medium tyres. And this is where it gets very interesting because we'll need to try and maintain pace stronger than everyone else in the field in order to try and get our lead back as much as we can to avoid losing too much time going into our last stint. Remember, the ultimate strategy, the 2-stop, is 7 seconds slower than the default strategy. That could be the winning margin potentially in this Grand Prix, but 2.4 second stop, medium tyres are on. We're trying something different this Grand Prix. We're trying a bit more fun with it. It's always been a simple one-stop. It's fast, but it's not entertaining. So we'll keep things as they are for our 2 sets of medium tyres. First one on for now. Sainz stopped already away from his hard tyres, so he's onto a set of mediums himself now, and pushing on to lap number 12 of this Grand Prix and making our move, closing in on Joe, Magnussen, and then Logan Sargent there in front of us, going in towards turns 1 and 2. Going to try and make a move on Joe if we can. Can't quite get inside without risking damage. They try the outside here, can't do that either, so we have to wait in line for a second. But on corner exit, sliding to the inside of the Sauber, passing on the left-hand side there into P17. Work begins now to try to pass Magnussen and Sargent. Fastest lap in our possession too. These medium tyres are quite quick. Purple first sector going into turn number 6, down the inside of Magnussen, and P16 now in our possession too. Logan Sargent, our next target, going through towards turn 7. Logan keeps the door nice and wide for us. Going to try and squeeze through, only just squeezing through there, keeping it in the white lines, keeping it on the tarmac, and up into P15 now. And our objective is to take P14 from Bottas next. At the end of lap number 12 now, 16 laps to go. We cross the line in this Grand Prix as Hülkenberg and Sargent go side by side for position behind us. But Bottas is our main focus down this main straight and the run towards turn 1. Once again, only a few places off the points now. Number of cars will still be starting to pit soon, but around the outside of Bottas and clearing the Sauber at turn 1. So up another spot here and keeping working. These medium tyres are doing fantastically for us. We're doing wonders for us right now. And there is our next target, Nico Hülkenberg, there in P13. So our objective is now complete. Let's get to work. I'll just try to chase him down as normal. And of course, nearing the halfway stage, the top 12 all together as of right now, all in one big train. Albon at the tail of that train about 6 seconds back in front of us. The Hülkenberg is our main concern here, getting DRS on the run towards turn 14. DRS open, using the last battery here. Hülkenberg can't compete with us, going down towards the hairpin and making our way towards the right-hander. Albon there, about 5 seconds in front, and Ricciardo in P11, and closing on those points paying places down the inside of Hülkenberg and up into 13th place for good here, making our exit and pulling away from the Haas course. Not long, obviously, till we make our next stop on lap 16. Going to lap 17 of this race, everyone has pitted. Perez, the last one's come in for a set of medium tyres, I believe, and that will help him run to the end of the Grand Prix. In terms of us, though, doing a fantastic job right now, leading the way by 8 seconds to Sainz and 13 to Leclerc. Sainz may need to stop again here to push further on to lap 19 of this Grand Prix. About to make our final pit stop. Leclerc and Verstappen challenging each other on the run down towards turn 14. He's going way too deep there, missing the braking point completely for the pit entry. Unlucky to avoid sliding off into the barriers there. Verstappen and Leclerc side by side to hold each other up here for the minute, but into the pit lane now for our second and final stop of this race onto our set of medium tyres. Obviously, we're going to lose the lead here, but it comes down to where we rejoin in terms of the last charge through the field to try and get ourselves as many points as we can. And obviously, with Norris out of the race, if the championship lead is as good as ours, if we can finish high enough. But Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez all going through. A number of cars passing us already here, down to P6. Hamilton and Gasly going in front. Tsunoda, Ocon, they're in a train together going towards turn 1. Closing in to be very tight going towards this first corner on pit exit into turn 1. Tsunoda and Ocon get out in front. There is Lance Stroll on our outside going through turns 1 and 2. Passing Stroll, passing Ocon as well down the inside at turn 2. And make a move on Tsunoda if we can. Going through turns 3 and 4. Can't do it for now. Might try the inside. Not going to do it for the minute. Tsunoda keeps himself in front for now. We've rejoined right in traffic again to get right back to work. They try the outside. Tsunoda going into turn 6. Tsunoda defends the inside into the right-hander, gets into a fall out of shape there over the curb, and we'll take advantage of that, try and pull along, try and keep alongside him. He's keeping himself there on our right, going towards turn 7. We've got the better line here, down the inside for the left-hander, and making our move for P8 now. So up another place, Gasly and Hamilton there, 4 seconds in front, 4 or 5 seconds in front, on lap 22 now, a few laps later. Gasly is now right in front of us, going towards turn 14. Hamilton not too far ahead either. Both cars are getting DRS here, off of the 8-time world champion, as Gasly defends the inside. We're going to go to the outside here, going into turn 14. Once again, to be our pico taking point, aside from turns 1 and 2. Gasly in our mirrors now, up to P7, Hamilton there in P6, Alonso and Russell in P5 and P4. The podium looking unlikely from here, but there's every chance if Leclerc and Perez keep on fighting. Verstappen in the lead right now, the dominant lead as well. Looks to be on course to win this race with 6 laps to go. But Hamilton is our focus for the minute, going into turn 1, right up behind our former teammate, down the inside, making the move stick as he opens the door up wide for us to come sliding through and into 6th place then. Alonso and Russell now only about a second or so in front. Not a lot of work going to try and close those guys in. Pushing further on now to the end of lap 23 or into the 3rd sector. Once again, purple sector 1, green sector 2. These mediums still got pace in them. Alonso shuts the door narrowly here, but DRS will be in play for both of us off of George Russell, going towards the hairpin. Once again, DRS about to come into play. Battery deployed as well into overtake mode. DRS now open and closing on the Spaniard towards the right-hander. Alonso going to follow in his wake and pull to the left-hand side. Going to go to the outside. Alonso defends underneath. underneath, going into the right-hander and try to outbrake him if we can. Going through turn 14, Alonso loses it, backs out on corner exit. P5 for us now, and Russell there in P4 as Leclerc, Perez, 5 for P3 and P2 up front, and Verstappen still leads the way. They all are going towards turn 1. Verstappen with a great advantage here, and Leclerc and Perez fighting. DRS in play. Closing on Russell now, trying to make one last move going towards this first corner. They're trying to make a move to the outside if we can this time. No chance. Inside still right there though, and making our switch down inside of Russell and into 4th place. But I think the podium could be just out of reach here. These guys are 5 seconds in front of us, 5.5, almost 6 seconds clear as of right now. There's 4 laps to go, but we're going to run out of time unfortunately as we pull away from Russell and Alonso. So on to the last lap here, closing in about 2 seconds back from Leclerc and Perez as they go side by side towards turn 14 for the last time here. But up front, Verstappen has pulled away. He's had it all to himself since taking the lead back from us in the pit stops, and Verstappen will run to the line and take the second flag and his second straight win of the season. Verstappen triumphs here in China. Leclerc and Perez. Leclerc's taken Perez for second place. Leclerc at the last corner, P2 for him, P3 for Perez, and right behind these guys, P4 for us at the flag. And exhale, that was a long race weekend as a whole. That sprint and the Grand Prix taken it out of us completely there, but still a solid haul of points. And I think the championship lead 2, driver of the day, 2 stops, only just working out. Could the one stop have got us victory? Most likely, but a good day regardless in China.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen. The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
So Max Verstappen then picks up win number 2 of 2024. He won in Japan, now takes victory in China, ties Lando Norris on 2 Grand Prix wins each. Just the one for us after 5 rounds. But crucially, the World Drivers' Championship lead might be back in our possession after losing it since Australia. And honestly, Verstappen will be close as well. It's been very tight between the 3 of us over the course of the year now. But let's have a look at the final results from this Chinese Grand Prix and see what that leaves us in terms of the World Drivers' Championship standings. Are we back in the lead? Let's find out.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So second place overall then across the weekend, 21 points, a solid haul for us in this Grand Prix. 4th place for us, Alonso in 5th, Russell 6th, and it's Gasly, Hamilton, Sainz and Stroll rounding at your top 10. It's good to be back then. China has given us a fantastic race weekend, thoroughly enjoyable all the way around. But in terms of the World Championship, then where does that leave us in terms of Lando Norris, the DNF? It would put us 2 points clear of Norris. So back in the championship lead then for the first time in a few rounds. Verstappen though, only 16 points back, so the gap has closed a bit between us and the two chasing pack between myself and Norris. But 61 points clear though in the constructors from McLaren. Red Bull closed the gap a bit today with Norris' retirement. So overall, Red Bull had the edge of us this weekend, but you never know, it could change for next weekend. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more future F1 content. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.